every time you put that uniform on and you put that helmet on and you strap in a race car, there is no other feeling than that. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's ahead. You don't even know if you'll be alive at the end of it. That's not what matters. It's about that feeling it gives you every time you get in that race car and you know you're getting ready to drive.
Most incredible run I've ever seen out of a race car driver, what Tony Stewart has done.
People think it's always about speed, and it's not. The speed isn't the draw. The competition's the draw, and trying to figure out how to be just a little bit faster than everybody else.
Here comes Stewart!
What we've witnessed is one of the greatest race drivers of all time.
I feel like that's what separates the great ones from the good ones. The good ones, they win in their share of races and they're happy. The great ones savor it for 24 hours, and then after that, all they care about is thinking about the next one and trying to figure out how to win the next race. I've been addicted to motorsports my entire life. Worse than any addiction I would want for anything outside of motorsports. When I was 5 years old, I remember my father came home from an auction with a yard cart. For the next 3 years, I ran that thing around the backyard all summer. I destroyed my mother's backyard. So the racing bug bit me immediately. I cared more about racing than anything. It wasn't relationships, it wasn't friendships, it was going to the racetrack on the weekend. You have to sacrifice personal time, personal relationships. You have to sacrifice a lot. On top of that, every time I went to a different form of racing, people say, well, he's not going to do that well in that car. He doesn't know these cars and he won't be very good at them. That has been the motivation to be good in everything.
I think it's the best driving I've ever seen.
There's people that want the basketball with 3 seconds left on the clock. They want the ball. And that's the way I am as a driver. Whether it happens 5 seconds at a time or 500 laps at a time, doesn't matter. That intensity has to cross over in every type of race car that you drive. Getting to that line first, that's all that matters.
You're tugging on Superman's cape when you bump into Tony Stewart. Hamlin goes wide. Stewart shuts him out. What a finish for Tony Stewart.
My grandfather drove a Mobil gas truck for 30 years. On spring break, we would always go spend the week at our grandparents'. My grandfather, one night during that week, would take me on the fuel run in the truck. To me, having this helmet and having the globe on it, it just reminds me of those days that I spent with my grandfather. When we created Stewart Haas Racing and Mobil 1 becomes a partner, then you think back to those days and think about how everything is made full circle. I mean, you want to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, and everything that Mobil 1 does, they have that same intensity that we have at winning races. But it's not just about making parts live. It's about how can they make it more efficient? How can they make you faster?
Watching Tony Stewart to see if he's got enough fuel to make it. Tony Stewart, the fuel holds up.
We won the 2011 Cup Championship because we had the efficiency in our lubricants to help us save enough fuel to get to the end where our competition didn't. It's not just a paint scheme on a car. It is truly about the products they put underneath us that help us be better at our jobs. I will always be passionate about Mobil 1 and everything they've done for my career, for our race teams. That passion's never going to go away.
Please welcome 2020 NASCAR Hall of Fame inductee, Tony Stewart.
Being inducted to those Hall of Fames are the highest honor you can have. To be able to be fortunate enough to be in a number of them, it's hard to not smile and be proud of it. Of course, getting to this spot doesn't happen without sacrifice. From those days at the Columbus Fairgrounds to the tracks where we raced in USAC, to IndyCar and NASCAR, and now back to the grassroots of sprint car racing for me. It's been a hell of a ride. Everything that you gave up when you were younger, all those sacrifices you made to be good at your craft, and then to be recognized at the end of your career, that's the ultimate pat on the back at the end of the day. I think that's why owning a racetrack, having Eldora Speedway, owning the All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Car Series, That's my way of giving back. It's knowing that we're making a mark on the sport outside of driving the race car. That has its own level of satisfaction as well. All my life, driving a race car has always been about feel. Feeling what the car likes, what it doesn't like. You get into a drag car and when you see the yellow lights come on, you mash the gas and you better hang on. You're going down the racetrack, but your brain's 100, 150 feet behind you, trying to keep up with what's going on as it's happening. And that's something that I'd never had happen in any other form of racing. I think it kind of proves everybody wrong when they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So when I take off the helmet the very last time, I think that's one of the things I'm going to be the most proud of. We drove so many different types of cars and were able to be competitive in them. And that's something I take a lot of pride in. For me, racing is life. That's all I live for. This is all I care about.
This is the man right here.
One of the greatest in NASCAR history.